What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Glove Drop. I just hopped off of a podcast that I did with the fellows over at Bench Clears. I don't know if you are familiar with Bench Clears, but they are a company that makes these fire jersey tank tops. They are officially licensed and they have all the teams home and away. They also have third jerseys. They have shorts. They have joggers. Go and check them out. The kid who came up with this whole idea is from my hometown too. So shout out Joe Carson for an amazing idea. I'll have the link for these bad boys down below. But let's just do a quick recap of what happened in Game 3 last night across the league. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning were down at Amalie Arena in Tampa, where the Leafs come up with their second win, extending the series 2-1 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. This game was very evenly matched on the 5-on-5, but Tampa really screwed themselves with penalties, and they were dumb penalties too. Patrick Maroon, 3 minutes into the first period, he gets a penalty for putting the puck over the glass, delay a game, and the Toronto Maple Leafs score. Morgan Rielly with that power play goal, 4:54 in the first period, really set the tone for the game, and that gave Toronto some momentum, which led to another goal. Colin Blackwell scores at 9:54, putting Toronto up 2. Tampa Bay is really chasing the game. It's as simple as that. The second period starts with the Leafs up 2, and David Camp, 9 minutes and 50 seconds into that second period, puts Toronto Maple Leafs up 3-0. That is 3 unanswered goals. Tampa Bay managed to rally for a minute. They go on the power play, and Russ Colton scores at 11 minutes, 6 seconds into the second period, but even still, they're down 2, and that 2-goal lead is really hard to get past, especially in the playoffs. Of course, Tampa Bay does have that experience, and they are an incredible team. They managed to score one more in the third period, with Palat scoring at 5:43, but it really was just too little too late. Did the best that they could, and in that last-ditch effort, pulled the goalie, and Mikheyev scores 2 empty netters, putting the Leafs up 5-1. They get the win. The series is now 2-1 with Toronto in the lead. They are playing Game 4 tomorrow, again at Amalie Arena. We'll see if the Tampa Bay Lightning can just manage to stay out of the box. Patrick Maroon's delay of game was just one of 2 delay of games. So keep the puck on the ice and stop setting it over the boards. The Boston Bruins managed to get one over Carolina. Carolina had taken the first 2 games, and now they were back at TD Garden, where the Boston Bruins end up with a 4-2 win. Carolina gets everything going. Vinny Trocheck scores 9:17 into the first, but that is where things started to fall apart. The Carolina Hurricanes go on the power play towards the end of that first period, but Charlie Coyle pulls out a short-handed goal at 17:16 in the first. Brad Marchand seemed to finally be snapped back into what Brad Marchand is, and we're seeing him play the hockey that he plays. He was a little bit off in the previous games, but I think being back at TD Garden and being in front of their fans really did have a very, very big impact on their ability to kind of dig deep, bear down, and get it going. Second period, Brad Marchand gives the Boston Bruins the lead at 5:41. Now, these special teams really seem to be the deciding factor in a lot of these games when it comes down to this first round. The Boston Bruins go on the power play, and Carolina ends up with another penalty, making it a 5-on-3 power play, which David Pastrnak takes full advantage of, and he gets that 2-goal lead for the Boston Bruins at 14:53. As you can imagine, TD Garden is going nuts. The fans are going wild, and something happened that I have never seen before in my life, and it was horribly scary to see. Joe Foley, he is the timeout coordinator for the NHL, an off-ice official. He is sitting in the penalty box. After Pasternak's goal, crowd is going wild. Everybody's up against the glass, and a glass panel snaps and lands on this guy's head, knocking him out cold.
They're banging the glass. It's moving and lands on him.
If you play hockey, you definitely know they're very thick. When I get on the ice and I use the door, I have a hard time just pulling the door closed, and that's just a smaller panel of the plexiglass. It's thick and it's heavy, and getting hit with that is dangerous and scary as hell. Immediately, the medical staff is on the ice. They get him on a stretcher. He is fortunately awake and alert, and they take him out to the hospital. As of now, the reports state that he has been released. He's okay, and he's recovering at home. So you can't blame the fans for that. I know I've slammed my hands on the glass before, and it's just bad luck all around. Fortunately, he's okay, and maybe TD Garden can, I don't know, not be falling apart from the inside out. Game resumes, and the third period, Taylor Hall gets the second Boston power play goal, bringing the Bruins a 4-1 lead. Jacob Slavin, the defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes, clearly an offensive defenseman. He does everything he can, and he gets one more past Swayman, puts Carolina at 2, but it was too little too late. Carolina Hurricanes are unable to come back, and the Boston Bruins come out with a 4-2 win, getting their first win of the series. Fyodor Kochetkov, that 22-year-old Russian goalie who I absolutely love, he has his first start of the playoffs as the third backup goalie. It is also just his 5th NHL game. He's doing the best that he can. I love him just because he got in Marchand's face, and truly, Marchand looked like a 6th grader.
With penalties on both sides, Marchand is in the box.
Kochetkov had at least a foot on him and all that goalie. I loved that image. Swayman in net for the Bruins in his first playoff start, makes 25 saves, gets the win. Brad Marchand, he's got 1 goal, 2 assists. David Pastrnak also has 2 points on the night with a goal and assist, as well as Charlie Coyle, who has 1 goal, 1 assist. Boston Bruins are trailing Carolina 2-1 in the series. They're back at TD Garden tomorrow for a day game at 12:30. See if they can tie that series up. Hopefully they can do so without any other areas of the rink just falling apart. The Minnesota Wild took on the St. Louis Blues in St. Louis, and that series was tied going in. Once again, these early goals are setting the tone for the game. Jordan Greenway scores for Minnesota 39 seconds into that first period. There's the momentum. Kirill Kaprizov, after having scored a hat trick in game 2, goes on to score 2 minutes and 18 seconds before 3 minutes into the first period. The St. Louis Blues are already down 2, and a 2-goal lead is just brutal to come back from. St. Louis is not able to get anything going in the first period. Second period starts, and former Ranger Matt Zuccarello, miss you, love you, he gets on the board as well. 7:44, bringing that Minnesota Wild lead to 3. Still just unable to get anything going on the Blues side. Third period, again, really quick hit from Minnesota right off the bat. Eriksson Ek scores 22 seconds in, and Minnesota is at a 4-1 lead. Ryan O'Reilly manages to get one on. They are on the power play. He scores the only goal for St. Louis, but there's only so much you can do. And they pull the goalie early, and Brodin gets an empty net goal at 12 minutes into the third, giving Minnesota that 5-1 win. So Minnesota leads the series 2-1. One more game in St. Louis before they head back to Minnesota. That will be tomorrow. So we will see if the St. Louis Blues can rally like they did a few years ago and get it together and get themselves another win to tie up this series. And the last game of last night, the Edmonton Oilers are in LA taking on the Kings. And once again, we're seeing an early goal really setting the tone for the game. Leon Draisaitl gets Edmonton on the board 3 minutes and 50 seconds into that first period. That momentum carries over, and we've got Zach Hyman scoring a power play goal at 6:03 in that first period as well. So there we go, man. Within the first 6 minutes of the first period, the Oilers are up 2. They hold that momentum going into that second period, and Evander Kane scores his first of the night at 6:27. Oilers up 3-0. A minute and a half later, Zach Hyman gets his second of the night at 7:52, and Evander Kane was like, whoa, I want to have another one too. So a minute and a half later, Evander Kane scores his second of the night at 9:51. So Evander Kane's already got 2, Zach Hyman's already got 2, and Leon Draisaitl's got 1, and the LA Kings got nothing. I guess Kopitar decided it was time for him to do something. Only 20 seconds later, he finally gets LA on the board with his goal, cutting the lead down to only 4 goals. They managed to squeeze by one more. Danault scores a power play goal going into that second intermission. It is Oilers 5, LA 2. The third period was a little bit more evenly matched. We're seeing much more solid play on the 5-on-5, and LA is just grinding, trying to get something back, but no chance for you, LA. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores his first of the night at 14:09, and then he goes and scores his second of the night at 15:40. 2 goals for Hyman, 2 goals for Kane, 2 goals for Nugent-Hopkins, and at 19:40, just 20 seconds left to go, Evander Kane gets the old hat trick.
You just saw a beautiful pass, Nugent-Hopkins onto the tape, into the back of the net. That point says it all.
Bringing the Oilers up 8-2. The game finishes up, and they take the win. Edmonton is now leading that series 2-1. They have one more game in LA. That's going to be tomorrow. We'll see if the Kings can do a little bit better than losing 8-2. That's just the quick little wrap up of what went down last night. Today we have 4 game 3s. One is going on right now. The Washington Capitals and the Florida Panthers are playing in the day game. And then as we head into tonight, we have got the Dallas Stars and Calgary, the New York Rangers and Pittsburgh and Colorado Avalanche and Nashville. So we will see what happens in these 4 games. New York Rangers, they're going to win. I have a feeling that they are going to win today. So thank you guys all so much for coming through. If you are new here, make sure you hit subscribe, leave your thoughts down in the comments, and like, share it with your friends, all that. If you want more of the Glove Drop, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Glove Drop. I will have plenty more content coming out. I'm gonna have a video coming out, a little wrap up of today's game 3s, and we will see where all of these series stand. Going into game 4, those will all start tomorrow. Thank you again so much. Make sure you check out Bench Clears. I will see you guys all in the next one, and in the meantime, let's go Rangers. Sidney Crosby, you're a bitch. Evgeny Malkin, you are old. Hang him up. Booyah.